This is WJZ-TV Channel 13, Baltimore. It's 6 o'clock.
The whole time. And
it is time now for the Eyewitness News, the early report, the 6 p.m. edition, Monday, July 22nd, 1963, with Jerry Turner in the news and Peter Wiggins in the weather. Here now, Jerry Turner. What are you doing, nobody, on this Monday, July 22nd, 1963? I'm Jerry Turner. News what's happening on Eyewitness News. Mayor Joseph H. Grissom Sr. of Maryland and Annapolis said today that announced the names of 9 residents of the city who will be asked to serve on the Race Relations Committee on the City of Annapolis. The mayor said he anticipates that each nominee to the committee will send on the invitation to be mailed today. Meanwhile, the mayor provided the following list: Rabbi Morsi Rosenblatt of MSF Israel Congregation, Reverend Warner H. Tram of St. Philip's Chapel, Offer H. Fawcett, President of the Citizen Planning and Housing Authority Association, Miss Marietta Carroll of Eastport, a school teacher at Eastport Elementary School who is active in NAACP affairs, Reverend John T. Chambers, a local businessman who is a pastor of a church in Ridgely, Morris H. Plum, President of General Manager of radio station WANN, Reverend Leslie L. Fairfield of St. Luke's Chapel and Dr. R.C. Allen in Annapolis, and Reverend Joseph H. Harold of St. Mary's Catholic Church. Serving with the committee of the ex officio members will be 4th Ward Alderman Roscoe J. Parker and 7th Ward Alderman I. Nord Brown. Griscom will form the committee whose numbers 5 white members and 4 Negro members did so at the urging of the local branch of the NAACP. Asked to decline the basic objection to the group, the mayor said it would intend to bring about better relations to get them closer together, to bring a better feeling amongst the races. Griscom said no date had been set for the first meeting of the committee. There is at least one gourmet among the members of the Annapolis Police Department. Police reports today contain the following item: reports of a large turtle across from her home. Requested an officer that this turtle might be dangerous to children at play in this area. What action was taken? Disposed of a turtle soup to be fried for a meal. In Washington, with hope of a quick rail settlement on President Kennedy conversed today with management and union leaders and then sends recommendations to Congress for legislation of nationwide strike. Congressional leaders were called to the White House for a separate meeting with the president, as legislation appeared the only way to solve the 4-year-old dispute over new road rules. A flurry of weekend conferences had raised hopes, but the settlement might be in the wait. So the works. As the optimist was cut short Sunday night when Secretary of Labor W. Wildworth reported no agreement had been reached. Kennedy worked on his report to Congress while spending the weekend at Cape Cod. By the time his plane reached the Capitol Sunday night, he and his special counsel Theodore C. Swanson had completed his first draft. White House Press Secretary Pierre Salinger said that the presidential measures would be ready before Congress quits for today. The carriers intend to start putting the new work rules together into effect for a week from today. About 60,000 rail jobs will be eliminated gradually. The railroads say they are unnecessary and costly. The 5 operating unions have said that they will strike when the rules go into effect. They claim that the job ensures safe and efficient train operations. Both sides agreed on a reprieve until July 29th after a meeting with Kennedy on July 10th, 8 hours before a previous strike deadline. What Kennedy will ask of Congress has been closely guarded secret. Speculation has centered on some form of compulsory arbitration and an extended mediation period followed by arbitration of knotty issues. The White House talks conceivably could help to shape Kennedy's proposed legislation. Government negotiations met with union leaders and management Sunday while some of the railroad held separate session with the carriers. At the conclusion of the meeting, Wirtz said that there was no substantial change in the positions of the two sides. However, the secretary said we'll be watching any opportunity to move forward by bargaining.
When she got the call, she was so upset.
For the settlement for the coming week, I'll at no point give up the possibility of settling it the way it out. It'll be done by bargaining, Wirtz said. In London, the Crown Dr. Stephen Ward on trial before a jury of 11 men and a woman today and accused them of keeping pretty girls as sex pets for her men.
She was walking home with her son, 11-year-old Jamari. Her daughter saw the car coming.
Christine Keeler, wearing a gold suit, was the first witness for the prosecution. The red-haired the girl's relationship with a British cabinet minister and a Soviet embassy aide came near to toppling Prime Minister Macmillan's conservative government.
Say it was her car which backed into Joanne White.
I heard her yell, so I looked over.
An 11-year-old Richmond boy boated near the Rivers Bridge Saturday afternoon died of injuries he sustained when a 21-foot cruiser smashed into the rowboat he was in. County Police Chief Edward C. King identified the boy as Richard J. Fisher. He was 4 other persons. Evidence crew of Hartsville operator the larger boat was charged with manslaughter. Charles Ben set for August 17th at 10 a.m. in Edgewater Magistrates Court. Investigating Edgewater police quoted shows that he had just cruised under the river bridge and felt the cruiser hit something. He was quoted by saying he did not see the rowboat, but after the accident he saw people in the water and passengers coming out of a rowboat fish the victims out of the river. Credited with rescuing the victims from the South River were Larry Pitticle of Silver Spring, Mary Pitt, Mary Smith, and Harold Flynn of Lanham. Others besides Richard in the demolished rowboat were Leroy Middleton, Catherine Middleton, and Beatrice Middleton, all of Falls Church, Virginia. The Woodland Beach ambulance took Richard to the Annandale General Hospital, where he was pronounced dead and arrival, as the body was transferred to the Billy Funeral Home, Richmond, and by the Taylor Funeral Home. The body of Filmer F. Mangus, a 56-year-old from Greenock, missing for almost a week, was found by volunteer firemen Saturday during a search by more than 75 county policemen and firemen. County Police Chief Edward C. King said Mr. Mangus was found about a mile west of his home near the Mount Calvary Church, a few feet off the old overgrown trail. Found under the body was a 25 caliber automatic pistol with one expanded shell. Mr. Mangus' body was taken to the Baltimore City morgue for an autopsy ordered by County Medical Examiner Dr. Elmer G. Lindart. The cause of the death was not determined this morning. Police said Dr. Lindart said Mr. Mangus died about 4 p.m. last Monday, about 2 hours after he was last seen. Investigating police from the Edgewater substation began a manhunt last Wednesday morning, the day after Mr. and Mrs. Grace Mangus, wife of the deceased farmer, reported him missing. About 40 policemen, volunteer firemen, and a K-9 dog from Prince George's County searched for about 75 acres around the farmhouse, but found no clues. Another search was conducted Saturday by Edgewater Police Captain Elmer Hangmer. Some 75 policemen and about firemen were scouted in the woods. About 11 a.m., Galesburg volunteer fireman Jerry Cullenberg of Clemson and then James Long of Bay Ridge found the body.
Just a bad scene in court today.
Fleming said Bulger killed Davis because her brother Stephen was a drug-addicted informant.
In Cambridge, a Negro interrogation leader said today that the commander of the National Guard troops in this racially troubled city has refused permission for the prayer meetings on the courthouse lawn. Royal Parker has a report. Royal. Well, Jerry, the leader, Stanley Blanch of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, said Brigadier General George Kelton reeled out demonstrations in a letter to Branch and Mrs. Gloria Richardson, chairman of the Cambridge Nonviolent Action Committee. Kelton said that the light of the conditions here, demonstrations would tend to incite riots, said Branch, an NAACP field secretary from Chester, Pennsylvania. Interrogationists had asked the general to permit them to hold 15-minute prayer meetings at the courthouse each day if they guaranteed to no more than 50 persons would take part. Brandmead said General Gilson handed over the letter after a meeting with him early today. Branch quoted Kelson saying that the prayer meetings normally would be legal but could not be permitted under present conditions, in which 9 persons have been wounded by gunfire since demonstrations began. General Gelston, an assistant adjutant general of Maryland, could not be reached for comment. Branch said the interrogation would seek a court injunction to try to obtain permission for the demonstration. He said no decision has been made on no further demonstrations after receiving the letter from Gelston. General Gelston said earlier he would keep all 900 National Guard troops in the city and 12,000 on hand until Thursday, when a 500-man unit, which has been since July 12th, would be released. This would be turn the job over to 400 additional troops, including a special force trained in guerrilla warfare, called into the Cambridge Saturday night when the town was on the brink of violence. The National Guard has banned all demonstration in the city, which is under the modified martial law. The nationally former racial resistance champion, Leanna Maryland.
When he drinks, he's being held.
And in Miami Beach, Florida, in the governor's conference, Barry Goldwater, the senator from Arizona, is announcing, and Rocky Nelson, a Rockville, stirring political dust.
Court releases a special ruling on drug cases taken by the state drug.
OK News Base. In Quebec, rescue crews continued to search today for the bodies of 15 victims in a collision Saturday evening. Worker and a freighter. It was the worst maritime disaster in the St. Lawrence River since 1914, when the Empress of Ireland sank with a loss of more than 1,600 lives. A young sailor fled today in Prince George's County when a car in which he was a passenger ran off US 1 and crashed into a tree. The death of James W. Fasten, Jr., 21, of Waverly, New York, Ways, Maryland's highway, total 1963 to 305, 6 more than a count of July 22nd of last year.
The national average. Prices have been climbing all month.
In Moscow, Red China and the Soviet Union say that they have agreed that to meet some time later and make another try at settling in their bitter ideological dispute. Diplomats in Moscow did not expect the meeting would be needed, as an announcement made simultaneously yesterday in Peking and Moscow.
4,000 megawatts of power.
Concluded threat with a new Chinese attack on the Soviet Communist Party. Peking accused it of trying to incite the Chinese people and party against Made Strong. In London, Admiral Claude Wiggins, U.S. naval expert on the Polaris spinning missile being Loudon for private
Takes the messages and like
talks, which he said would range over the role of sea power today and in the future.
there is definitely
Governor Todd had appointed Dr. L. Eugene Cronin as chairman of a
I'll let you know how much
special committee to coordinate studies of fish mortalities in the Potomac River and other Maryland tidal waters. Dr. Cronin is director of the University of Maryland
valuable player.
National Resources Institute in Saigon, Vietnam. South Vietnamese forces fought the fiercest battle of the year against communist guerrillas last weekend, killing 58 birds and capturing 19 others as 19 government soldiers of the 7th Division were killed and 45 wounded in the battle Saturday just south of Saigon and the Mekong River Delta. In Vatican City, Valerie Perfect of the Vatican Congregation of Religions died today in his apartment in a palace of the Holy Office. The Italian Cardinal 79 was stricken with a grave throat infection earlier this month. Now to the sports tonight. The Orioles have the night off. Tomorrow they will host the Baltimore Eyewitness, the Washington Senators at Memorial Stadium tomorrow night.
Forecast formed from unmatched experience. Be prepared with
In Westminster, Maryland, the Baltimore Colts opened training camp here Sunday for the coming National Football League season as Don Chul began his first year as the team's head coach by checking in 33 players. The only MCs were R.C. Owens and fullback J.W. Lockett. Owens is recuperating from an auto accident at Denver Hospital. No reason was given for Lockett's absence. Halfback Lenny Lyles ran the 40-yard dash in 4.5 seconds and going for Sunday's opening pace of late claim on the fight of fastest Colt. 2-a-day drills are scheduled for Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday, 24 veterans will be joining the Rickies, newcomers, and other than regular players already in camp.
Displayed on his
Capacity crowd will be seen in Las Vegas
and he was
for the
he was
heavyweight fight between Sonny Liston and Floyd Patterson.
really does look at the whole person. We are able to address his specific nutritional needs. We got
Okay, now on the weather now. Here now, Peter Wiggins with the weather. Take it away, Peter. Okay, thank you, Mr. Turner. Right now, our current conditions at
as well.
Friendship Airport in Baltimore on this Monday, July 22nd, 1963. We got a temperature of 75 degrees with a dew point about 65 degrees to be dew point. Temperature 75 degrees at 6 p.m. Humidity 71% barometer 90 inches. Visibility about 4 miles and the winds northeast about 6 in condition. Drizzly skies. Around the region, it is 75 out in Martin, 75 out in Wilmington, Delaware, 74 out in Dover, Delaware, 74 in Easton, Maryland, 74 in Salisbury, Maryland, 75 in Annapolis, 75. Now 77 degrees in Meade, 79 out in Andrews Air Force Base, 83 in Washington National, 76 in Dulles with light rain, 83 in Gaithersburg, 80 out in Frederick, Maryland, and in Gaithersburg, Maryland, 80 in Hagerstown, Maryland, and 80 out in Cumberland, Maryland. And a couple of little thunderstorms in northwestern Maryland, stretching in northeastern West Virginia, stream northwestern Virginia, and a couple of rain showers in the Baltimore regions. Baltimore area stretching into the airport, stretching through Annapolis and into the the eastern shore of Maryland there.
Funding provided by Luna.
Near the Chesapeake Bay. Weather-wise by the nation today. Skies expected to be clear to partly cloudy throughout the nation tonight, except for 7 hours. Scattered showers are expected. It'll be continue hot and humid in the plain states and on the Gulf Coast. Some coolness expected over the Pacific Northwest.
We're following some breaking news just in News Center 5 right now out of New York area. The LaGuardia Airport's runways.
Mostly sunny today, high mid to upper 80s.
The southwest
Fair tonight, lows in the 60s. Tomorrow, mostly sunny skies, high again in the 80s. Wednesday, fair with no important temperature changes. Favorable winds about 5 to 12 miles per hour today, tonight, and tomorrow. 5-day forecast. Temperature will be average around normal to a few degrees below normal.
as a result.
Tomorrow, throughout Saturday, with a little day-to-day temperature change. Rainfall expected to be average 1/4 to 1/2 inch.
breaking news from London right now. You were looking live.
Scattered thunderstorms on most of the 5 days.
It is 6:14 here. It is 11:14 in the evening there, and the Queen.
And that's gonna be it for the WJZ TV channel 13 Eyewitness News on this July 22nd, 1963 on Monday. I'm Jerry Turner, inside Peter. Time to give a good evening. We'll be back for the news at 11 o'clock. Have a good evening.
By his wife.